Going on? This is Julian from Elephant TV, and today's going to be a really fantastic video, so I'm glad to have you here for me today. Today is all about why I love young children, so let's jump right into it. When I was in college, I worked for a really special company, and what they did is they hired, health and wellness coaches or anybody who was a certified personal trainer, and they'd send you to public schools to either teach recess or after school, so like that you can somewhat, oversee the children's playtime and make sure that it's structured and they're actually getting something out of it. So I love this, probably one of my favorite jobs ever, and this is where I learned so much about children, and I think it shaped the person who I am, because I try to resemble what I've learned from them each and every day. So anybody who knows me personally, they know I have this attitude, and it's all because of my time with children. So let's jump right into it. I would go into these after school programs, it'd be like 20 kids in front of me. They've never met me in their life, and you see them like, oh my God, look at his shoes, look at his hat, look at his shirt. They're having fun connecting with their other classmates, talking about you. But once you got them to settle down the first day, what I do is I'd be the first one to connect. So I say, hey guys, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna share our favorite food and our favorite sport. And I would go first. I tell them, hey, my favorite food, and at that time I think it was like sweet potatoes and ground beef. I ate that like every day. I tell them that, and I said my favorite sport is ping pong, and everybody would start laughing. They're like, ping pong, ah. So that was already a plus. They're quick to laugh. That's another thing. And then afterwards I would go and have each and every one of them let me know their favorite sport and their favorite food. And guess what? As they're telling me that, I'm actively listening. That's one thing people misunderstand with young children. They feel like that young children don't really feel out vibes, or they don't know if you're paying attention to them or not. They do know. They know if you look at them as they're less important or they're not as intelligent as you. They feel that, and that's something that I've never done, and that's why I think I was successful with this job, because when every child will say their favorite sport or their favorite food, I was actually interested in learning about what their favorite food is. And then I say, hey, why? Why do you eat that cereal? Somebody would say, oh, Captain Crunch. I'd be like, why Captain Crunch over Lucky Charms? And once you do something like that, they say, wow, this guy, Coach Julian, he really cares about what my favorite food is. And just like that, they're quick to connect with you. And afterwards, they'd come up to me, the first session, they'd be like, Coach Julian, why do you like ground beef so much? Isn't it nasty? And little funny things like that. So they're quick to connect with you, and they're quick to be curious. So whatever curiosity that they have flowing on in their mind, they're quick to go and engage you and ask you. They're not so fearful. So that's one thing that I really learned about them, and that I really like, that they're quick to connect. They didn't wait till my 6th after school session with them. Just that first day, they're already connecting with me, already tapping me, already trusting me. So that's one thing that I really loved about children, and the curiosity, how they'll just ask any questions that come up to mind. The second thing is that they're so quick to get over it. They're quick to get over it. Trust me, when you're playing any sport, there's gonna be some accidents, and sometimes, say we're playing basketball, right? And somebody passes the ball and it hits somebody in the head. The kid will get upset because he thinks he's being singled out, and he thought that was intentional. But what I do, I'd force them to explain why they're upset, and then afterwards they see that it's silly, it was by accident, and then I'd force them to hug. And they would never want to hug. They would never want to hug, but I'd force them, and they do one of these, and then they'd hug each other, and then I say, you guys can't leave until you tell me you guys are friends and you guys are cool. And they'll be like, okay, we're cool. And I'll be like, fist it. And then they'll, give each other a little pound. And guess what? Afterwards, they become the best of friends. So they're quick to get over it. They don't hold grudges. They don't say, well, I don't like him because 2 months ago he hit me with the basketball. They're quick to get over it. That's one thing that I've learned from them, and I'm gonna keep repeating it because you guys need to know this. There's people watching this right now who are in their adulthood, and they're probably upset with somebody from 3 years ago because of one little simple thing that they did. But here's a 6-year-old that got hit, physical harm, and and I know emotional pain is much harder, but here's the concept. They're quick to get over it, and guess what? They don't spend the rest of the after school session upset and down. They're happy, right? They live life. They're joyful. So that's one thing that I've learned. Another thing is that kids are, you hear it all the time, right? The younger you are, your mind is like a sponge. I've had students come up to me and say, oh, I wanted to be a singer, but I'm not good enough. This was like a 3rd grader who told me this, and it broke my heart, And of course, as as I went to these after school sessions, I developed relationships with them, and they would come to me, and one of them, she said that, and I said, why don't you want to be a singer anymore? And you know what she told me? She said, well, one day I was singing with Hannah Montana, and my mother told me to shut up. And I said, why? And she said, because your voice isn't as good as Hannah Montana. And that's one thing that I really want to stress with anybody who's working with young children. You know, you may be having a bad day, but don't put it out on them. And whatever you say, they may not tell you. And she also told me, she said she went to her room, she didn't cry or anything like that, but before she went to bed, she thought about it, and then she got sad about it, you know, and her mother didn't notice it or anything like that, but that's what she wanted to do. That was her dream, to be the next Hannah Montana. But because her mother, I don't know, was probably upset or cleaning, who knows what she was doing, but she told her, you know, to be quiet, basically, and that broke her dream, that broke her spirit. So just be careful when you're dealing with young children, not to harm them with your words, you know, just to be grateful to be in their presence. And remember, just if you're not going to speak them up, don't say anything to them. And I think I'm probably going to wrap up this video right here. Let me try to remember everything that I said. I was just so excited. I just came from a workout, but I had somebody talk to me about a child, so that this is why I'm making this video. But long story short, they're quick to connect with you, right? So as the first day I would go into these after school programs, they're already, Coach Julian. They want to connect with me, they want to learn more about me, they're very curious, and they're not afraid to, you know, to show that. And they're quick to let things go. Whenever something harms them, they didn't get picked, their best friend didn't, well, not their best friend, but one of their friends didn't pick them to be on their baseball team or their basketball team, they get a little upset, they get a little sad, they feel the emotion, but guess what? 5 minutes later, they get over it, and then they're back to having fun. And another thing is, they absorb things. So whenever you say something to a young child, don't think that they don't know, because trust me, they know, and they absorb that, and then they grow up to be adults that are bitter and upset because they never pursued their dream, because their mother said that one thing, and now they're working at Chipotle, and then when you ask for extra guac, they're like, there's gonna be more money. They're upset, and they have that, you know, that tension. That happened to me not too long ago, that's why I say it. But oh, I want to finish with this. This is how I'll finish this off. As you guys see, not structured at all, and I don't care. It's all about getting the message across. One of the things that I love saying the most, and one thing that they loved hearing the most, were these two words: free time. When I said free time, it's the equivalent of me telling you, you're a millionaire, everything, all your debt is paid off for, you're gonna have a six-pack, you're gonna have the best, most ripped biceps, whatever it is. That was their equivalent. That meant the world to them, free time. So I think that's the most special thing. It's just like, just free time, that filled them up with the most joy ever. Every time I said free, and I think that's why I was the most popular coach in the company at that time, because I gave them free time each and every day, because I said, you know what, I want them to associate me with free time, with somebody who allows them freedom. And that's what you need to do with young children. Allow them the freedom to play, to fall, to scrape their elbows, their knees, but free time brought them so much joy, and that's all they needed. Even if sometimes we didn't have equipment, they'd make their own equipment and they'd make their own fun. But sometimes, you know, we have basketball, soccer, or whatever it is, but that's what it was. They found joy in the smallest thing, and it was free time. So hopefully you can find free time within your life, you know, just the freedom to do what it is that you love, to play, you know. When's the last time you played tag? You know, when's the last time you shot a basketball? When's the last time you went for a run? When's the last time you played frisbee? When's the last time you threw a football? You know, when's the last time you got silly? That's another thing about kids. They're not afraid to be silly. They don't really care about what anybody else thinks about them until they get older, you know. And I've taught from kindergarten to about, I think it was 8th grade or something like that, and that's when you start to see the shift. But yeah, just treat them with the utmost respect, learn from them, and just treat them, you know, as an equal. Even though they're smaller, they're younger, they don't know as much as you, they're gonna make mistakes, and they need you to guide them. But just don't do anything, you know, out of spite or anything that's gonna harm them negatively down the road in life, and get your free time on. But other than that, stay motivated, and may you grow to be as strong as an elephant. Bye-bye. And right now I'm at work, and I'm throwing the football with one of my coworkers right there. This is Delroy right here, and he's just gonna, I just wanna ask him, what sport does he enjoy playing and why?
I would say soccer, because I've been doing it for a long time. That's why.